Hey, fellow patriots, I'm Bree.
And I'm Blaze. Some call me Pa. It has been said that we have 4 boxes to keep ourselves free. These are the soapbox, the ballot box, the jury box, and the ammo box.
And we are the 4th box. We are here to arm you with enough information, resources, and skills to take back your freedom, increase your self-sufficiency, and inspire you to join in the fight against tyranny.
Thomas Jefferson said, "Eternal vigilance is the price of liberty." Thank you for joining us and for joining in this fight.
Welcome back to the 4th box. Hey everybody, welcome back to another week at the 4th Box podcast. We are so happy to be joined once again by some of our most frequent visitors to the virtual Buckman Tavern, Jared and Mike from South Dakota. How's it going, guys? Welcome back to the 4th Box.
Yeah, doing good. Thank you for having it.
Excellent. Thank you, guys. And it's always good for us to get this word out because, like we said in the beginning, we got to get people to wake up, and that's still kind of the common census of all of this stuff. And anything we can do helps.
Yeah.
For sure. Yeah, for sure. And we know that you guys have been at it, and the guests that have been with us to this point know how much you have been doing this whole time. If this is the first time that you're hearing Mike and Jared's story, I highly recommend to go back into our earlier episodes and listen to some of this story from the beginning, because we're going to kind of pick up where we left off. And this is a big story. They've been fighting this for a long, long time. So if this is your first time meeting Mike and Jared at the 4th Box, go ahead, listen to some of those earlier episodes, and then come back here and pick up with us, because this is a battle they have been fighting for a while. This is not a new problem, and it's not a problem that's going away soon. And though they're in South Dakota, this is a problem that will in time come to all of us. So it's certainly our pleasure to have you guys back. Before we get into it too much, Pops, I'll let you start us off officially.
Okay, well, I certainly, along with Bree, want to welcome back to the 4th Box studio Jared and Magic Mike, good friends, great friends. We had a moment to stop and see on our way back from the motorcycle rally a couple of weeks ago. Very excited to have them here. I'm raising tonight a Yingling Black and Tan to my dear friends and all our fellow listeners and patriots around the country. Cheers to you guys. Thank you for everything you're doing, leading the way, showing the rest of this country how to stand up and push back. And a big salute going out to you guys.
Salute to you too. Thank you for having us.
Cheers, guys.
Okay, just as part of our normal format, I always try to put together a quote that somehow ties to our discussion. So tonight, my quote is, "Among the natural rights of the colonist are these: first, a right to life; secondly, to liberty; and thirdly, to property, together with the right to defend them in the best manner they can." And that comes from one of our all-time favorites, Sam Adams. And I think that quote, we will find a lot of appropriate meaning as we go through discussion tonight regarding property rights especially, but life, liberty, and property. And by the way, those are government's only function and the only thing that everybody sitting in a seat swore that they were going to do. So as we go through the discussion tonight, I'm sure you'll see that we have strayed far from that. So welcome back to the virtual Buckman Tavern. It is always great to share some time with you guys, and certainly to raise our glass to you and all the other farmers and ranchers out in the Midwest that are helping feed this country and the world. It's a big salute.
Thank you, Mud.
Well, thank you for that. We are very gracious that you give us the opportunity to actually get our message out there. It's a message that needs to be heard, not just in South Dakota, but in the rest of the United States. And you'll hear why in a little later on when we start explaining some of the bills that our current representative to the federal spot is actually trying to do to us. So, all right, thank you for that.
That's right. Thank you,
We're ready.
guys. And these things are coming. We said in a few other podcasts, this is the tip of the spear. You can see how it's becoming the tip of the spear. And Mike's right. South Dakota, the people did their things, and now we got to work against the federal government. And when it's federal, it's not just South Dakota, it's every state out there, you guys. We have to keep waking up. And it's a tough project, but we ain't quitting. So we're here.
So, so Jared and Mike, just in a nutshell, can you frame up what has transitioned that this thing is now moving to somehow under federal jurisdiction, which, by the way, I'm sure as we go along, I'm going to be quick to point out that there's no constitutional authority. Not that anybody abides by that anymore, but we would certainly be happy to hear what that was that has taken place that now has shifted it out of your state jurisdiction into the federal level.
Mike, I'll go quick here, and then you can hit me with more of the facts, Mike. I'll sum it up quick. So, as you guys know, we went through the CO2 stuff and that horrible bill SB 201. The people referred that law to a vote. We got it passed as referred law 21, killed that bill. We have currently, since then, we've even got a bill through from a great patriot friend of ours that decided to leave the farm, put his whole life on frickin' hold, and become a senator. And it's not easy, and it props to him, hats off to him, because it is a frickin' battle. And we got no eminent domain for CO2 pipelines in South Dakota. So as you sit right now, currently, you're like, you feel good at where you're at. And then lo and behold, our representative up there in Washington, no doubt, covered in a little swamp juice and whatever else, and the hand in the cookie jar, comes right out with the bill. And they cover this bill up as water rights type of stuff. Not even water rights, kind of like the wastewater stuff where like these CO2 plants got to pump across stuff. And they cover it up as a water bill. And about 4 deals down in that bill, there's this Fast Track Act. And the Fast Track Act, and then it's the CO2 stuff right in there. You can see the writing on the wall, and we're raising hell. And Mike has like the numbers of the bill. He's got the note sheet there. I got no notes. I come right out of the tractor, guys. So, but Mike's always got my back on these things, so he can kind of lay some of that out there if people want to look for themselves in, because we're not lying. And we'll get into the encounter we had just a week ago. So, be good.
So, and before we do that, Jared, I want to just, you hold that thought. I want to add that while the big, beautiful bill was being heard in both the House and the Senate, a number of our representatives and senators from our state were there trying to remove a lot of the bad things that were specifically targeted for South Dakota. One which was going to be, they were going to override the bill that our good friend that Jared was talking about, the new senator, 1052, was going to be made null and void. The federal government was going to override us and that bill and make eminent domain a federally applied law statute. and these, we were able to get that out of the big beautiful bill. So because we were able to do that, now our representative, whose name is Dusty Johnson, by the way, we're not going to hide who he is. He came with a standalone bill, the one that Jared was just referring to, House Bill 4135, that is going to affect every state in the union. And this bill is like a single-page bill, as simple as they come, but hiding the most devious things you could possibly think of, which were what Jared was referring to: water rights and property rights, designed specifically to enhance AI and CO2 pipeline. all of which they deny vehemently, and we'll let Jared get into that because he had a discussion with Dusty at one of our local fairs that we have here. That was an interesting discussion at best, but Dusty has been claiming the entire time we have been challenging this that it doesn't apply to CO2 pipelines and or water and or AI. Actually, he doesn't deny that it applies to water. But in both cases, the water is necessary for AI because of the cooling that is required, and it also in regards to the CO2 pipeline. So with that in mind, I believe it's time now that we can move on to what Jared experience was with him at a place called Dakota Fest in one of our towns in South Dakota when they had a chance to talk to Dusty.
Can I cut in before you do that, Jared? I'm curious, like, what is the verbiage in the bill? And I don't expect you to know the exact, but what is it that he's able to dispute it and say that it's not about those things?
What he does is he says it's for water, and then he quotes statutes 401, 402, and 404.
And that's a clean water.
And when you look up those statutes, then you find the things that he's hiding, because they will cover the water. And how is that phrased then, Jared? I should have wrote it down too, and I did not.
His whole bill starts with like the Clean Water Act. And he said, which I can kind of roll from this right into the thing, because I had a discussion face to face with him. Was hoping to do that. We've been trying to reach out to him for 4 years. Never, ever want to talk to the people of South Dakota. He's in Washington. His life's good. He don't give a shit. Well, so I caught him outside of this little forum. I made a beeline right to it. We're going to talk about this, and we want to tell him this bill needs to go away. And also, I just want to put one little thing out there for the state of South Dakota. This guy wants to be our next governor, too. So just remember that. That's how clueless this guy is to what has happened here in 4 years. But anyways, he keeps saying it's a Clean Water Act, and that kind of goes back to how there's a lot of things in it, but how he's talking is how like water's discharged from a CO2 pipeline or something, but they won't ever say it those. And when I personally asked him about this in the CO2 pipeline, he said, "You're just being lied to, all these things. You don't even know what's in it." I said, "Well, I kind of got a good idea what's in it. The fast track's in it. When you break the fast track down and look into it, CO2 pipelines are in there. They're trying to speed up the process for these things to get done." And then he told me it was about, well, say these small towns, water infrastructures, all that. And he goes, "We're 7 years behind Europe. It takes them 5 months to do this. It takes us years to do this." And if I was smart, I should have said, "Well, yeah, we have a constitution. We should do things right here." But I was so shell-shocked kind of, because, when you finally get to meet with him, you try to keep her professional, all those things, and all I was, "I'm a liar, I'm misinformed, you're listening to the wrong people." I'm like, "You aren't listening to the people. That's the problem." And he kept telling about the water. It's just a water bill. It's just a water bill. And we know the water, when we get into this data center thing or solar panels, then it's going to be a thing. You can see the whole bill smells wrong. They're going to try to get the water people are using for these corporations. If it's not a CO2 pipeline to cool it, because they use a pile. Data centers got to cool everything. That's why they want them up here in the north. It's a cooler environment, and they can do it. And these data centers only use everything in the cloud against you. And we can get into that stuff later into here, because that could be a whole show in itself. But this guy was unprofessional. Well, it's a podcast. We don't have to cover it up. He's a prick. He was an absolute asshole. And he lies right to your face and just smiles and talks down on you like I'm the uninformed one. Like I'm the one that don't. I don't think he realizes what's happened here in the Supreme Court and what the bills that the grassroots and the people did in South Dakota. We have worked tirelessly, absolutely tirelessly, to get to this point. And then to just have it overrid by the guy in the federal government who wants to come home and be the governor. Are you kidding me? What a slap in the face. Your hand's caught in the cookie jar, Dusty.
Yeah.
You just well find a little apartment out there in D.C. because there's no reason for you to come home. So,
Yeah.
Something right now that would fit in, I think, nicely with what Jared had just said. And that is part of Dusty's bill is going to fast track these AI data centers. And that's going to happen throughout the United States. But they're specifically targeting North and South Dakota and Wyoming because they believe, we have hydroelectric power and we don't have a lot of people. And we have more power, they think, or what they've been told, than we can use. But the proposed power usage for South Dakota for the new data centers being set up now is 2.5 times more than all of South Dakota is using right now. In Cheyenne, Wyoming, there is going to be one facility that is going to use 5 times more power than all of Wyoming uses right now. 1 gigabyte. Right now, 15 miles from where I live in North Dakota, there is a data center that's going to use as much power, this one data center 15 miles from me in the middle of flipping nowhere, as much power as all of North Dakota uses for the entire state. Now, the amount of electricity being used by these things is so staggering you can't put your head around. And it just doesn't make any sense. And necessarily then there will be power shortages and then rise in power costs. And I do believe in order to control the supply, the power costs are going to increase, and they have started to already. And they claim, it ain't from the data centers. It's, we just hadn't had an increase for a while. Well, yeah, BS, we know better.
The BS. So the people need to start.
The point I'm trying to make here is every state in the union must be aware, because this bill will affect all 50 states. This is not exclusive to South Dakota. So if you have a phone, Dusty needs a call.
And all your representatives everyone. We don't need this stuff.
Yes.
No.
Yes. Pops, I know you're ready to jump in, so you go, but I've got a lot of stuff.
Yeah,
ready.
So my first question is, does he have any co-sponsors on the bill? Is it being prepped to go to the floor, or is it kind of just stalled out there with not, because you got to get some co-sponsors to get it out of committee to bring it to the floor?
I don't know that.
It has not been sent to committee yet, and it's been slowed significantly, and we believe by our efforts. It's being looked at more closely.
Here's where I was going with that, Mike, because I know you guys had, and all of the many folks that worked with you to change the inside South Dakota political landscape. Do you think you could recall this guy?
We're not going to have to. He's going to resign. He's going to stop being our state rep or our federal representative here whenever his term is out. And or recall him before his term is out. I don't know. We have enough time for that.
We have to check on some of that stuff.
Okay, so then my next question is, if he's planning on vacating his seat in the House to make a run for governor, with the footprint and the influence that you guys had by alerting other farmers and ranchers and concerned citizens of South Dakota, do you think he can be stopped, or is all the big money behind him and with the sheepishness of the American public, he'll get swept in because that's where the money's at.
He has awards.
He definitely has the most
I mean,
money.
the money is not even going to be a issue for him, but he's not. So I worked the fair here a week ago, and we got a guy running for governor. He's a grassroots guy, true patriot, younger guy, got a big family, just a conservative Christian guy who wants a better place for South Dakota, his kids, grandkids, all that. Just how you should run for. Does he have the money that Dusty has? Not. I'm not even comparable. You're not even in the same storage cabinet for comparing. But he's got grassroots, and we kick ass and take names here. But the people don't know him. I'm worried about you just get the people. Well, I'm a Republican. Okay, Dusty Johnson, he's a Republican. I hear his name all over, and they vote for him. This guy,
Sure,
he's as close to liberal as it gets. He's been against Trump and all these things. I'm not going to get into the MAGA thing, anything like that. Trump's done a lot of shit that I'm not real happy with. And like we covered some stuff there, but he just don't even know what's going on in South Dakota. He won't meet with the people. We have had people in Washington. He physically ran out the back door. Physically ran.
yeah.
Seen him running away from him. Like,
yeah, I don't doubt
I believe
that. You know what I think, Jared, and I certainly don't have eyes on this like you guys do, but I think he's probably being propped up by the big money people that want to cram this shit down our throat, and his commitment is to those people, not to the people of South Dakota. Just like all them rats that are down there for any period of time, they become compromised by the big money people, and they're bending over kissing their ass instead of taking care of the folks that they went down there to serve. So I'm kind of thinking that they probably put him up to the
100%.
governor race so that there is not a state level injunction or stoppage put on this thing. If they have him in the governor's seat, he can steer the state, because if you remember the Richard Mack case, states are not subject to federal direction except for those 18 specific authorities, and there's nothing in that 18 authorities that gives the federal government constitutional authority to cram this down your throat. So I'm thinking they're backdooring this guy into the state level so that you guys can't stymie the whole thing at the state level.
And no doubt.
Yeah, I think that's a great
100%.
observation. That I do believe that. So Dusty is somebody has got his back. Somebody has said, if it just happens that you don't win the governor's race because you supported or you sponsored SB 4135, well, it'll be okay because we'll take care of you. One of those kind of things. So he has nothing to worry about winning the governorship, but will give them access. That is them, whoever they are that are supporting Dusty, access to South Dakota. So it's not like it's not a big deal.
They're trying to,
in Dusty's case, it's not
switch this whole thing to the federal level. So a year ago, we had a president. He was Democratic, and the CO2 pipeline, CO2, all this bullshit was CO2 to put it in the ground, sequester, do all this stuff. Was all tied with the Green New Deal. Now we got a Republican. Now we attached it to enhance oil recovery. Big Oil's behind this whole thing. Big Oil runs Washington. They no doubt is tied into there. And we know the technology isn't there to do this. By the time they get it, it will be obsolete. It's just part of that land grab thing to get these things pushed across the nation, to get Grandma and Grandpa off the farm, to get Jared Bosley off the farm. And they're trying it with the eminent domain. Property taxes are damn high all over. Then we roll to the data centers. Why don't we make their electric bill 500% more? They want us all in 15-minute cities. That's not conspiracy theorists. Just sit back and look at what they're doing. And it's
And so this bill is not exclusive to South Dakota. I think that's really important for your listeners to hear. This bill will affect every state in the union.
In Illinois, Louisiana, all over to try to figure this out because they, maybe never heard of it. But we told you guys in past episodes the projected maps for these CO2 pipelines. And I think the last one we talked, it was 55,000 miles. If you can believe it, there's a little new map out, 90,000 miles. It will be in everybody's backyard, across everybody's county, everybody's township, every place. And this government is going to own that land.
Yeah. And they're stealing the wealth from. They're stealing the wealth from us all. It's a big wealth transfer back to the big corporations and the people that own all of those skunks down there, criminal cowards. It's forcing us. And the other thing is they're going to use the mainstream media, the communist arm or the propaganda arm of the Communist Party to convince these Americans that are asleep in the cities that this is for their own protection. And not only that, but we got to have these data centers out there so that we can provide better information. They're going to blow sunshine up everybody's ass while they're stealing our lands and stealing our wealth. That's what's going on.
Bingo.
For sure. If I can jump in for a minute, there's a couple things I want to go back to here. The first one is, Dad, you kind of asked about Dusty and if he had a real shot, if there was money behind him, blah, 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 right? A couple things here that I just want to touch on. One, I don't think it matters what money's behind him, even though it's pretty obvious where the money is coming from, because he wouldn't be immediately pushing a bill like this if we didn't know that the corporations behind these exact things were not behind him, right? That's just implied. But also, to Jared's point very early in the episode, if you are his constituent and you come to him and you ask him about this, what is his response? His response is, no, this is good for you. And this is protecting water rights. It's protecting land rights. It's touching on all of these different things. And he then even has the audacity to mention different statutes, right? Where he goes, oh, no, because of statute 40 whatever and blah, blah, blah. It's actually just protecting those things. He does that because he clearly thinks that someone like Jared or any other farmer, rancher, just local of South Dakota doesn't have the capability to already know what he's talking about. He throws out things that are false, thinking that that'll get him off his tail, right? But someone like Jared, who spent the last 4 years fighting all of this, is already aware of the fact that he's lying when he says this stuff. But not everyone is going to be. So there's a ton of people, like Jared mentioned, okay, yeah, sure, he's a Republican, I'll vote for him. But there's also a ton of people who they really trust him when he says, I'm protecting your land rights, I'm protecting your water rights. So you're going to get a ton of people that are supporting him, thinking that he's going in there to protect the very thing that he's going to destroy. And that is such a perfect analogy for almost every other person running for federal government across the country. So I wanted to point that out just because I think it's important that this guy will be able to walk his way into the office. He won't be sliding in the back door because he's stood up on the, billions of dollars of these corporations. He'll walk right in because it's very hard to get people to stay that informed. Yeah, you guys fought your asses off. You fought like hell to get people to become aware of this problem. But then you have someone like Dusty step in and say, I'm here to fix it. I'm here to solve that problem, which is a lie, but they don't know that. So they'll vote him right in. And then the other point that I wanted to make, obviously, the thing that really irks me about this, we talked about very early on when you guys first started coming on these shows that South Dakota was kind of the guinea pig here. I mean, you guys foresaw something that the rest of the country wasn't seeing. You were seeing it in your area, but you were also recognizing that it was going to become a problem everywhere else. And that was such good foresight on your part for a lot of reasons. But now when we're actually seeing it happen, the thing that I think is so important for people to recognize here is the entire premise of this is to save the climate, right? We're going to sequester carbon because we need to save the planet. We're killing the planet. So that's the entire point of this. Meanwhile, in the very same breath, the very same bill, they're putting in all of these data centers, which let's just look at the very brief little glimpse of the stats you gave us on that, Mike. And that is the opposite of saving the planet, of doing any good for the climate. You need to have hardly a brain cell to put that together. We're sucking up water, we're sucking up energy. Not only are we making it so that people can't afford those things, but we're also destroying the resource. We're taking all of the resource. It makes no sense. They're so completely counterintuitive. They're working against each other, and yet they put it in the same bill and pretend it's all for the greater good.
And the more things
Go ahead,
with
Jerry.
these data centers, I want to throw this out there quick. So the one north of Mike, well, actually there's two north of Mike. There's one big one, and then there's a big one going to go up Bismarckish, Jamestown, somewhere in that area. Mike can correct me. But that one is going to take enough power to what San Francisco and Anaheim use in North Dakota. And now they're starting to come over. We know they're flaring off the natural gas in these oil fields. They're going to run a pipeline, a natural gas pipeline, to these data centers to make electricity. But they will not let one person along the way hook up to that. There's huge transmission lines coming in. Same way, no one can hook up. You know, when you go back to eminent domain and for public good, like a natural gas line, that got to do it. It's public good. So now you can see the gray area where they're going to play this game, but it's for private gain. Every state needs to get bills into place for this stuff. It is coming. Private gain and public use is two totally different ends of the spectrum. There's not even gray area. It's black or it's white. And these things are coming, and they're coming with water lines. These data centers in North Dakota are getting up there because it's barren ground, beautiful country, not as many people, and it's cooler. And they got this natural gas. The next thing, they're going to come from the East Coast to the West Coast, right through just north of Mike up there with a 30-inch fiber line. And that's going to run coast to coast, and that's going to be the storage hub for the data center.
So just in case you guys are wondering, I've seen this flyer.
Eminent domain, because we're going to be using the data. It's all falling apart right in front of us. You can see how this is, and it's going to happen everywhere.
Yeah.
We just seen the tip of the spear, like we said, with the CO2 pipeline, and we're still just barely off the point of that spear, you guys.
Yeah.
Please, America, wake up.
Yes.
We have to.
I don't know what else to say. This stuff is so daunting. It's the data centers, the CO2 bullshit, green energy, saving the planet. It's all stealing wealth, putting us into a digital prison with this overwhelming surveillance that will all be running every communication, every text, every phone call, every email will all be running, stored in these data centers, watching and monitoring you. Remember, when government fears the people, you have liberty. When we fear government, we have tyranny. We are living in tyranny. They are doing this against the will of the people. However, the flip side of that is most of the people don't care. They're more worried about the damn football game or some nonsense. True. Or what. I don't know. We've been screaming. You guys have been screaming. You guys have been in the front of this battle out there. And we've been begging and pleading with people to wake up and watch how we are being enslaved by the digital surveillance that we live under and the crap that our elected representatives are forcing us to live under, and nobody seems to stand up and say boo.
I got a thing right there, falls right in this perfectly. The kids started school. My kid, my buddy's kids, they all started school. when they come home the first day, what do you got to do? Cover the books. You cover the books. These history books are beat to shit. They're breaking open. There's little to nothing left of them. That's why they make them put these covers on, duct tape them all up, all this. Books are going to shit, but the sports equipment is top tier, perfect of the list. Like, if my boys seen the football pads, the girl and stuff we used to wear compared to the stuff they got now, you could see how stuff switched. Take the history books away, make the football pads good, make the volleyball nets perfect. Everything is a distraction, people.
Yep.
It's not, oh, we got to go to a football game and have popcorn and a Coke with our buddy. Look at what is happening right in front of us.
Amen.
It's right here. It is right here. And we've been trying to say that for years.
Yep.
And now you see the next thing, the data centers, wind and solar. They're going to start doing this BS with eminent domain because it's for the good of the people. No, the people are going to get to use the wind and solar electricity and data centers, the CO2 pipelines, anybody that's corporate America, they get consistent power. It don't matter if our lights go on or off. They want us off of this land.
100%. Mike, I know you've got something.
Right. I would like to add what Jared mentioned earlier about that fiber optic line. I have seen that line. I've seen they're putting it in the ground as we speak, but it's going in the right of way. But it's not going to be hooked up to anything but these data centers. It's another one of those private companies for private gain thing. How they're able to use the right of way, perhaps because there is no issue in regards to safety, we don't know for sure. But these lines, these fiber optic lines are big. I mean, I don't know how many
30 inches.
lines are going through each one of these.
Most
but
fiber optic lines are like your pinky.
Well,
30 inches is a big hole.
Yeah, so there's going to be, it appears that they're going to attach, and the reason they're here obviously is because of this data center that's going in right close to us here in right to North Dakota. So they're going to attach to that one. But it's kind of surreal what's going on here. This stuff is all taking place without any local people knowing, or local government people knowing what's going on. It's just happening. It's just taking place. And we're in trouble.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing that people miss, when we talk about freedom, when we talk about liberty. Oh, it's not affecting me. Nobody came to my door and asked me if it were okay if this, so it's probably not affecting me. But that's not true here. It's not true with any of the things that people do without consent. Look at the poison in our sky. Look at the geoengineering going on. No, the problem is that there's no consent. There's no consent here. You're talking about these fiber optic wires going in under the ground, under who knows how many people you're going to be like within close contact to that, and you haven't consented to it. So maybe you don't feel that your liberties are being infringed upon because your rights haven't been taken away because of that fiber optic line. But that fiber optic line went in, maybe not on your property, but very close to you, and you don't know how it will affect you, and you never consented to it. Mm-hmm. That's the problem. And to the point that you guys are making here, all of these pieces are so tied. And you said it earlier, they want us in 15-minute cities, right? Like this, all of this stuff, every single piece of this puzzle that you're putting together for us makes the poor poorer and makes the rich richer. And they're going to keep doing it and keep doing it and keep taking our resources away. And Jared, you said it earlier. When there's a power outage, who's going to take precedence? Is it going to be you, or is it going to be the data center? Whose lights are going to stay on? It's not going to be the farm.
Correct. The farm lights are going out. No doubt about it.
And just to that point, to make that point even more clear, this data center in Elmdale has 3 power lines coming to it, along with from 3 different power sources. So they really can't afford to run out of power, because if they have a a shortage, things don't go well, and so they're not going to. So, and they're trying to get another line in from Jamestown down here, but some of the North Dakota people have now started a resistance in regards to that because they're going over their property, and it's not for, and they're going to use eminent domain, and it's for a private company. It's for this place here in Allendale, and so there's actually a meeting on I believe it's Wednesday, all day long.
Tomorrow night, Mike.
Finally waking up, and so we'll see how it goes. But our local senators and representatives are going to be there to tell them what's going on in our state, and to try and help them figure out how to fix it. But North Dakota's in trouble. But anyway,
sounds like we all are.
I wanted to jump in.
We actually all are.
Yeah, we all are. And here's the thing: there are structural and mechanical things that were put in place in both our state and our U.S. Constitution that could stop all of this stuff in its tracks. However, the biggest part of the percentage of the country knows nothing about it and is distracted by the bread and circuses. They are not looking. They couldn't care less. They believe the propaganda that they've had crammed up their backside, believing that this is all going to make their life better. And our ability to use those mechanics that were put into the Constitution to stop this simply has died on the vine, just like every single violation of the Constitution that takes place. How'd they get away with it? Because nobody cares. Nobody knows what the book says. They just rather would go pay attention to something else that's the bread and circuses that has kept us distracted, kept us uninformed, and we are marching into our own jail cell, funding it, funding our own enslavement.
We are 100% funding that.
And of course, I'm going to jump in quick, Jared, here, because I have one thing that I think is very important. It's not that I don't agree with you, Dad. It's just that I think this is the thing that people are pissed off about. They're pissed off about it in theory. They're pissed off about what is to come with these, this digital takeover. People on all sides are afraid of what could happen. What they don't understand is that it's already happening in places like South Dakota, in places like North Dakota, where the population is low, where maybe the population is too elderly or too busy to be doing anything about it. Now, I don't think people will stay distracted and stay unawake when they recognize it's going on. It takes more Jareds and Mikes, because Jared and Mike and their group, they became leaders in their state and they woke people up. Yes, people were distracted for that, but look at what happened. Yes, of course, the football games went on and people were distracted, and no, they didn't know their Constitution, but they knew what was wrong and they knew what was right. And Jared and Mike played a big part in that. And with that mindset, that's a couple guys in every state, and it's over. The problem is right now, the people who are distracted, they look at somebody like Jared and they look at somebody like Dusty, and they don't know either of them, right? And who do you suppose you should trust if you know neither of these guys? Well, that's just Jared. He just got off the tractor, and that's just Dusty, and he's in politics. He's from Washington. Surely he's well educated and blah, blah, blah. And so they don't know any better, and so they trust Dusty, right? That's the problem. It's not an issue of distraction. I know that in my heart to be true. The problem is we don't have enough Jared and Mikes out there. And if we can get a couple more of those, their house of cards collapses overnight.
But it's a project, and I'm not gonna agree with you on the distraction stuff, Bree. This is our rights. We get to disagree.
Yeah, right.
Folks, if you're wondering about agree with someone in bibs or someone who dresses up for the fairs for rodeos, the guy in bibs just tells the truth. That's where he's at. So, folks, listen to me. Okay, I go back to the distraction side, Bree, a little bit. People are busy. These kids are way busier than they ever should be through the summer months, through all these months. These sports are 12 months a fucking year anymore. They're not. You know, we play football 2 months, you do basketball, and then it's not that anymore. They
Yeah.
keep everybody distracted. And I'll show you how. When anybody runs for office anymore, and very seldom sheriffs, say this: I support the Constitution. I'll stand for it. Why is that an advertising point? You all take an oath to the Constitution. When did that be a thing you could pick and choose on? And
Amen.
Yeah.
that is a thing anymore. And that scares the hell out of me.
Yep.
And
Yeah.
that's
No,
where,
that's
but I just, as long as Sports Center comes in on their TV, as long as they can get to the thing, and I told our group we're working on this RL21 stuff because I was pissed at the meetings. We didn't get turnout. I said, we're just gonna have to grab a microphone at every basketball game there is because there's 253 people sitting there, and you can't get them to come learn about a bill that's going to affect their freedoms, and that's the biggest thing that just irks me. I
yeah.
mean,
Yeah.
badly.
This goes back to the way Blaze started the podcast, and that is life, liberty, and property rights. That was the original way that was supposed to have been said, and it got changed for whatever reason to life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness, both of which are the same thing, by the way.
Correct.
So,
Pursuit of happiness is the same thing. Sheriff Mack says that.
Yep.
except that people don't understand it that way. There was no property tax in this country of any kind until 1850. And then at that time, the Constitution was subverted then already to be able to tax, because it's unconstitutional to tax you out of your land. That is, or out of any property, whatever that happens to be. And so we're dealing with millennia worth of problems here, and we expect to get them done in a couple of years. And I think it's going to take longer than that. So we're going to just have hang in there a little while.
It is going to take longer. When you pay your mortgage off and you finally own that quarter, own your home, own that. When you own that, I mean, you worked your ass off for that. And now property taxes are more than what your mortgage payment. I mean, that's happening. Nebraska, Wyoming, South Dakota. It's everywhere. Like I said before, they couldn't get grandma off the land with eminent domain, or the property taxes. Now it'll be the electric bill, the water bill. You just kind of see how everything's rolling, you guys.
Yeah.
And it's, I don't know, these family farms across the country, there's one person back. There's not 7 of them that are doing that. You could see the writing on the wall. Most of the farmers are 55 plus, 60 plus, 65 plus probably. There's no young guys that want to do this stuff. It takes work. It takes a hell of a banker to get behind you and do these things. And you literally get to watch your buddies go camping that just accept the system, and you're working. That's just what we do, and that's why some hard things got delayed. I am not going to give up. I'm not giving in. It's 100 years Bosley's been here, and I'd be damned if I'm the one to lose it.
Amen. I appreciate that.
We need more. We need more of this mentality, and it's not just a farming. It might just be a store on Main Street, a hardware store your grandpa started or something. All those things matter. That was free America back then. Now everything's got to be corporate.
Yep, 100%. Hey, and I'm going to go back because Bree is always my bright spot who lends a little optimism to what I see as a dark cloud by sensing that there are a lot of people that are starting to be aware and concerned. And I hope that's correct because I don't see it much in my peer group. I think if I went to the plant or if I went downtown and I talked to people within my peer group and asked them if they had any concerns about the big data collection centers that are going up all over the country, and they're going to consume more electricity than 2 times the state. And asked them if they had any concerns about it. I think the majority of them wouldn't even be aware that such a thing is going on. Now, if there are younger people that are waking up to this, for that I'm giving thanks, because at some point, people have got to get tired of being pushed into a corner, having everything that their family struggled for down through generations be stolen away from them, and they got to stand up and fight back, because every bully will keep on pushing you into that corner until they get hit in the mouth. And it's time this country stands up and hits in the mouth the people that have been kicking us around like a dirty dog, stealing from us, stealing our wealth, stealing our inheritance, and that begins with our life, liberty, and property. That is what is being stolen away, and I think people in my peer group largely don't even feel it happening.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah. So let me ask you guys this. I mean, obviously, Dusty has a real shot of becoming governor, but even if he doesn't, this bill will find its way into the House to get voted on, right? One way or another, somebody's gonna get this bill in there to get voted on and make it happen, see it through, because this is something that they can't back down on in the fight to steal everything from us. So what is next for you guys?
Our mantra is for Dusty to repeal his bill. But you're right, Bree. I do believe if he does, it will be incumbent upon another representative to carry that water. But they have chosen Dusty, I believe, because of South Dakota. They want to make an example of us through him.
It's
And
targeted,
so,
100%. Yep.
How else would Dusty get a bill like this? I'm sorry. There's just no other reason. And so
let's just remember, folks, I was targeted. That pissed the people off, and we made things happen. Let's remember that. Let's keep pressuring Dusty to kill this bill. And if any of your representatives in any states get this bill, you do the same thing. And I'll guarantee South Dakota makes damn sure this guy's political career is over. He will not be governor.
Amen.
And we have to do these things. I mean, in the targeted stuff, you guys can go back and look on past episodes. I mean, how I got to meet Blaze and Bree, and Mike and I got to meet them was in Vegas at the National Sheriff's Convention. Because we've tried every different deal to bring the Constitution back, including bringing Sheriff Mack up here to South Dakota. And to teach our sheriffs, why do we have to teach our sheriffs what a constitutional sheriff is? They all take the oath of office.
Amen.
And what happened there?
Yeah.
And we need more Sheriff Max, and we need more Magic Mikes and Jareds and Brees and Blazes out there in the world, because we have got a lot of damn work ahead of us.
Yes, we do. Yep.
I really, every time you guys come on the show, I think that what you're sharing is so important and so insightful. But I honestly think this one might be the most important because it has the biggest repercussions long term, on such a national scale.
On
and that's been the thing that's been hard for people to see. You've said it since episode 1. This is coming for all of you. You said it episode 2, episode 3. You've said it every time you've been here. But do people really believe that? I don't know. But now they don't have a choice because it's reality. And I think it's so, so important because this is a conversation that it's sneaking its way into every state, you know, through people like Dusty, through these little bills, trying to get in. It's going to happen. And we have to be aware and awake to the fact that it is happening, or when they pass this thing, there will not be enough pushback. So, as always, I mean, I just can never thank you guys enough, because I know, without even asking this, but I'm still going to ask it. When you started this journey, Jared, when those people showed up on your land and started, you know, pushing you around, did you ever think that this long into it, this is where you would find yourself, and now this would be the battle you're fighting? I mean,
Right.
No.
4 years ago, there was no such thing as AI in my vocabulary.
great
I
point.
had
That's a great
no
point.
idea.
I mean, it wasn't there. 4 years ago, we barely knew what a CO2 pipeline was.
Mhm.
You know,
Yeah.
you just hear it. It don't sound that bad. Look at it. Look it up. Look how they kill the hogs and the turkeys at these plants. It's CO2, pressurized CO2. You start to learn this stuff, and you're like, oh shit.
Mhm.
This is the tip of the spear. We've said it's the tip of the spear. There's more things to come, you guys.
Uh-oh.
We have to.
Uh-oh.
Our kids,
Oh, we lost
So,
him.
yeah,
grandkids
well,
rely on this, you guys.
He'll be back.
Hey, I heard him. Yeah. You froze up for a second, Jared. Are you with us?
Yeah, I'm here. Can you hear me?
I can.
We can hear you.
Yep.
All right. I probably got bad Wi-Fi. The AI is just not quite good enough. We probably need another data center. Or something. No.
You're the first one on the shutdown list, Jared.
Oh, I've got a red flag. There's no doubt. I can send smoke signals and make things work, and I don't need lights to live. They want to play the game. Let's rock.
I'm with you, brother.
Oh, I love it. Mike, I know you've got something else to add there. What were you going to chime in with?
Did we lose Mike now?
No, I'm here. I guess I am at a loss, except that I think we need to remind your listeners that Dusty's bill is going to affect everyone in the United States, not just South Dakota. This is really a big deal for everyone. And call Dusty and ask him to repeal that bill, and say, hey, you guys, you need to just think about this a little bit. I think one other thing about Dusty, I'm not so sure Dusty even knew what was in this bill when he started it. I think it was written by someone else specifically for the purpose for him to pass. And then I believe he knows what's in it now.
Yeah,
But,
sure.
No.
But
Yeah.
he had to look twice, but he got a little encouragements from some of the people from South Dakota to check it out. So we're giving Dusty a little too much credit when we think, he knew what he was doing in the first place, but he knows what's going on now. So call Dusty and tell him to get rid of this thing.
So
Yeah,
DC,
can you remind us of the number of the bill?
It's House Bill 4135.
4135. Okay. Cool. Yeah, we'll definitely add that because it's so important for everyone to read. I mean, we've shared this before, guys. You can look up any of these bills. It is not hard. They're quick reads. And whatever it takes for you to just simply understand that this is not good for any of us in any capacity, and it truly can take everything from us. Everything.
Correct.
And if we don't stand up, it's going to get crammed right down our throat. And when we all wake up to it, it's going to be way too late.
It'll be too late.
Yes, sir.
Exactly.
Yep. Well, I as always, guys, I know, Jared, you got to get back on a machine. I cannot express how grateful you are for taking a little time to join us. It is always our distinct pleasure. I know, Mike, we can't see you, but we did have the opportunity to stop by and see you in person on our way back. It was only brief, but we do intend to try to get out there at some point where we can all spend a little more time together. We appreciate you guys' leadership up there in South Dakota. It is an example for the country. I am proud to stand with you guys in this effort anytime, any place, and we appreciate you taking time to join us.
Well, we couldn't be telling our story if it weren't for you guys. And so we certainly appreciate you giving us this opportunity. And we hope that the rest of the United States actually pays attention because it's coming for all of us.
Yep,
I agree. Appreciate you guys. Thank you for the friendship. Thank you for everything. It was awesome to see you guys. I know it was brief, but it's been a little wet. We got to make hay when the sun shines, and it's always an honor to talk to you guys. I appreciate it. I mean, if it wasn't for you, we don't get this voice out there. And all of us have to do this. we all have to stand up.
Amen.
It's not for you grandkids. We have to do it for
100%.
them, your
Yep.
kids. So I thank you
Well,
guys thoroughly and appreciate everything you're doing.
I just want to add before you guys go, I know this battle has not been easy for you, and I really, like, from the bottom of my heart, just hope that people look to the both of you for inspiration, because your lives have been forever changed from what you've gone through in the last few years and what you've learned and what you've come to experience. And you went from, you said it earlier, not even knowing what a CO2 pipeline was, to being so involved, to knowing the ins and outs of every single one of these bills, to knowing your state reps and governors' numbers by heart at this point. Like, you're so involved, and you would have never gotten to that point if it didn't come knocking on your actual door.
That's correct.
But that's what it takes. I mean, that's exactly what it takes from all of us. And it's so daunting. And I completely understand that. But for those of you who have any doubt, any fear in your mind, like, look at what these people have been able to sacrifice. The amount of time. You think you don't have any time? These guys don't have any time, okay? While you're sitting at night watching 3 hours of Netflix before you go to bed, trust me, you've got time. Like, take a little of it, take an ounce of it, because if Jared and Mike can put in the amount of time they have to a fight this big that impacts you, that impacts me, that impacts all of our future children and grandchildren, then you have to be able to do something, even if it's just reading the damn bill, because this will come and knock at your door too. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. Are you going to be ready for when that happens? So thank you guys sincerely. You always inspire me. I really hope truly that you're able to inspire every single person that listens to these messages, because it is so, so important what you're doing, and we cannot relent ever.
Agreed, 100%. And
I agree.
looking forward to seeing you guys again this fall.
For sure.
Absolutely. Yeah. So I know you guys got to get back to it. Pops, close us out with a Bible verse if you would.
I will. Now he that minister seed to the sower, both minister bread for your food, and multiply your seed sown, and increase the fruits of your righteousness. 2 Corinthians 9 and 10. And for you guys out there that are feeding the country and feeding the world, God bless you. We love you. Thanks for joining us tonight,
Amen.
and we hope to see you soon.
Sounds good. Thank you, guys.
Thanks so much, guys. We'll see you next time. Keep
Good
fighting.
night.
Yeah.
Good night.
Yes, ma'am.
Well, guys, I truly just hope that that message was conveyed with the same power to you that it was to us. Every time I talk to them, I just feel overwhelmed. It's incredible how much is always going on that we don't see. I mean, we stay engaged with the alternative news, right, Dad? I mean, that's what we do. We do this whole podcast, and yet crickets.
Yeah.
I haven't heard about this at all, and I wouldn't if it weren't for those guys. And I genuinely hope and pray that people hear this message and understand that it is coming. It is imminent.
We have to get up off the couch. Our lives are being stolen away. Our livelihoods are being stolen away. Our children's futures being stolen away. We are being surveilled by people who are not looking out for your best interest, and we're sitting around doing nothing. And here are two people, as you described moments ago, that work their tail off from dawn until Jared said he'll be out there till 11 o'clock at night running machines in the field, cutting hay to feed cows and feed hogs, to feed this country and feed the world. And we are allowing them to stand on an island fighting back against the very people that want to run them off of those farms. We have got to wake up. Our children are going to be living in chains, and we will be living in chains if we don't soon get up and do something about what's coming.
Yeah. I mean, I know I had my moment of optimism there in the middle. I was trying to stay positive, but I am scared. I will not lie about it. So it is going to take bodies. At the end of the day, it takes numbers, it takes people, and it doesn't take all of us. I will never stop reminding you all of that. It just takes some of us. It takes some of us to be strong enough, to be brave enough, to be determined enough, and to just be in the know.
Yep. Stay vigilant.
So don't shut your eyes to it. Yeah, there it is. I mean, there's nothing left to say tonight. So with that, guys, we'll see you next week. Try to stay positive until we get there. I'm sure we'll have another unfortunate message to bring you at Thursday, 6 p.m. Until then, stay vigilant.
Stay vigilant. Good night, everybody.
Thank you so much for listening. We really do appreciate the support and truly love getting to share this message with anyone who wants or needs it. The best way for you to support the show is to subscribe, add a rating, and share with everyone you know. You can find us on Instagram, X, and at thefourthbox.com. We'll see you next Thursday at 6 p.m. Stay vigilant.